Kia ora everyone, namaste, vanakkam, talofa lava, dajiahao. Sawadika, annyeonghaseyo, konnichiwa, buongiorno, jambo, misambula, and in the language of my home country, selamat datang, apa kabar. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Berlinda, Director for the Office of Ethnic Communities, and I just want to acknowledge the wise words that have been shared this morning and this afternoon with the gracious opening from Sir Anand Satyanan and Julia. I can listen to your presentation over and over and over again. I don't think we need to change that formula or that you need to apologize for the rest of us who've been here this morning. I'd also like to acknowledge the wise words from Derek, because he's really given us yet that stretch around core and flexible organizations. But before I talk at you some more, I'd like to just test this out with you and in some ways bring you along the journey with me. And in this case, put to practice Julia's model about IQ, EQ, and CQ. So I've been in New Zealand since year 2000. I spent a good 14 years. I keep telling people it's been 10 years, but actually it's been a good 14 years. This is the thing about age and women. Anyway, 14 years in Auckland before I had to move to Wellington for my job. But Aucklanders, I am with you today. And for us to get good at this game, let's start with the IQ bit. Do we know our numbers? No chocolate fish, unfortunately, because really I've just kind of made this up as now, thinking that you've been sitting down listening to quite a few people, but I think we need to know our numbers. So just a quick diversion from my little presentation. How many ethnicities? Warm. How many ethnicities are identified through Census 2013 in New Zealand? 213. Bang on, nice numbers. Excellent. Now, that's just a number if you haven't got something to compare with, right? So, how many countries on the world map, official countries on the world map? Give me a number.
182.
Warm, very warm. 196. So here we go, people, the comparison. 213 ethnicities through Census 2013. Compare that against 196 officially known countries on the world map. Welcome to New Zealand. Now give me another number. What is the percentage of the ethnicities that have been identified through Census 2013 lives in Auckland? Percentage. Give me a number. So you can't go for the 100. 60. 60% of 213 ethnicities that have been identified through Census 2013 lives in Auckland, or has identified themselves to be living in Auckland. Now, out of this, 22.8%, and this is my passion for the future and for young leaders that are coming up in New Zealand, and really sometimes in the toughest days drive a little bit more of my energy up the stretch and the challenge of what we do. 22.8% of our children, this is according to Census 2013, aged between 0 to 14 years old, identify with more than 2 ethnicities in this country. These are our young leaders. Here's the New Zealand we are gifting them. What's our stretch? What's our leadership call? What are we leaving behind? So, thank you, Mike, for this opportunity to speak about the support that the Office of Ethnic Communities, which is part of the Department of Internal Affairs. If some of you don't know, yes, we are a central government agency, albeit a really small one with 30 FTEs right across the nation. I've got people in Auckland, I've got my 2 team members here, and I've got roughly the same 10 in Auckland, 10 in Wellington, 2 in Christchurch, and 1 in Hamilton. Yeah, I know. So what is OEC's mission? Simply this, that is to ensure that ethnic diversity works for New Zealand, and we do this through the provision of information and advice to government and through the delivery of support, services and capability building to ethnic communities. What does that all mean? Basically, Basically, we want to enable our rich ethnic communities, and they're vibrant. You know this because you're here in Auckland and you see them every day. That this rich, vibrant source of positive contribution to New Zealand continue to grow, they continue to contribute to our resilience as a nation, and they also continue to enrich who we are as a country, but more importantly, who we are also as individuals. The concept of New Zealander, the pride in which we call the land of Aotearoa our mother and our motherland. Those of you who know me will know that not only have I come from Malaysia, that I'm of Chinese descent, and that my sister got married to a Kiwi Māori, and therefore I have nieces and nephews who are Kiwi, Māori, Pākehā, Malaysian Chinese, and God knows what they're going to take on the census forms, but hey, that's their challenge and that's their stretch. But this is the life that I've now got in New Zealand. And 7-8 years ago, I made a mature, conscious decision to be a New Zealand citizen. Those of you who come from my part of the world, or where I was born in Southeast Asia, you will know that we really don't have a choice of dual citizenry, or triple, or quadruple. We gotta make a choice. And I made that choice, to remain in New Zealand and to be a New Zealander, because I see my future with where New Zealand's going. And boy, do I love that. Moving on, so what do we do practically though to support our ethnic communities in New Zealand? And there's just a couple of programs, because I don't want to go on and on about what governments do, you all know that. And I won't answer for all New Zealand government as well. So I'm here to talk about two programs, two practical ones. One is called the Mana Tangata Ethnic Leadership Program. This is an Office of the Ethnic Communities pilot program. We're delivering this in partnership with Massey University. And what we wanted to do with this program is to design a space and place for ethnic community leaders to come and really learn a bit more about governance in New Zealand. This is really quite a different concept. Depending on where you come from in the different parts of the world, governance could look quite different, even though we use the same English word to represent it. Not only that, we want to include the appreciation of our tangata whenua, as we've discussed this morning, and I think even in the afternoons you would have heard Maori appreciation has come forth as well. And what we want to ensure as well that ethnic communities are also engaged in understanding and appreciating the role of tangata whenua. Really important as leaders that we stand up for who New Zealanders are. The program then, of course, also focuses on core skills for public sector governance roles such as financial management, public relations, people leadership, and sustainability. Again, because some of these concepts, while they are in English and we interpret them to be so, may look quite different in practice depending on where you come from. So this program enables a little safe environment for ethnic community leaders to be able to test some of their thinking together. This pilot initiative will also act as a learning tool prior to any larger scale commitment, and full impacts, benefits, and weaknesses, of course, will need to be carefully evaluated before implementation is considered on a regional or nationwide basis. This pilot will be delivered on the 19th and 20th of March, so it's just around the corner. The next little tool that I'd like to share is what we call the Intercultural Capability e-learning program, ICE for short. This has come out of an intercultural awareness and communications training for trainers workshops that we've been running since 2007. But we know one of the key limitations with running such a program, while the dialogue in the groups have always been rich and has always been considered one of the best things that have come out for groups, is that it doesn't go far enough. It doesn't reach enough people. So we move what we've got as a building block from the workshop onto an online platform. So after a thorough review of the original program in 2015, which is last year, we made a decision to really bring the program to everyone. So it's freely accessible to anyone, anywhere in New Zealand, as long as you've got the right computer specifications. It's an introductory program, so it's not aimed at super duper big complex stuff. Really aims at just increasing anyone's intercultural awareness and their ability to communicate across cultural boundaries. And I know we keep using this word culture throughout the whole day, and some of us have been using it to replace ethnicity, and sometimes it's about groups of people, and it's about where we come from and all that. Now, culture for me personally is how we do things here. That's how I view culture. So you can have, coach culture, you can have culture at home, just quite different from culture in the community hall, etc., etc. And so what we're talking about through this program is not a culture-specific program, it's an intercultural one where basically you're exposed to techniques or tools that you can use anywhere you go. Now, this program will comprise of 4 modules, taking the participants through the breadth of diversity in New Zealand, helping you to understand and your own cultural self-awareness. So how aware are you about yourself and who you are? And then how to put some tools, interactive activities online to effectively communicate when there are cultural and language barriers. So watch out for the space. We're looking at launching or making this online tool available at the end of March. It's now currently going through a bit of a final phase of testing, but will be there for you all. I know my colleagues at Customs New Zealand and Massey University have already indicated they wish to implement the program in its entirety in their own learning management system. So we're looking at opportunities to do that as well. So ladies and gentlemen, that's me. I just want to go with one more activity before I close, because that will take us from IQ, EQ to CQ, and that is just to join me standing up should you be someone who's born overseas. How many of you are born overseas? Could you stand up for us? Beautiful. Thank you all for this. Love you. Kia ora.